on the troll.
Hello and welcome. It's good to be here. It's nice to be here. Right, it is that time where we have to deliberate. We told you there's no time for us to close anymore. We have had holidays, I think. We've had our fair share of resting.
I wouldn't call it resting. I would call it more like involuntary because of life circumstances.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't think it's I rested. I feel stressed.
I think I even got used to sleeping early. And when I came back, I was very sleepy most of the time. But yeah, we are here. I am here now. And let's talk about the scenarios or the basis of what we actually had the defense asking for. And and I think we are all in a position of being in agreement to say that we almost can tell what is going to come and how it's going to come, right? And I would say don't close the door for some of them that we didn't say. We say we don't expect them to come.
Yeah.
With the time given, anything is possible. If you get me, you get me. If you don't, it's okay. You will one day get me. But for now, time is being bought. And in all honesty, I'm going to say this. I don't think it should take this long to extract an AVL report that is on the system. I don't think so. I mean, if you're just going to go and extract an AVL report, it shouldn't take this long. But we are in the process, and this process is worrisome considering the complaints from accused 1 and 2 and how they were treated. So, yes, we are in this situation. I don't think they should have even gotten 2 days. They should have. 1 was enough, because this is a system. We're not talking about something that you're going to go and dig. This is not a gold where you have to dig a hole and find it and clean it. No, this is the system. A system just prints. You go there, you select a day. If it's a SQL environment, you go select a day, and then it prints you everything that you need to print. And most likely, I would say it's a SQL environment, that one.
It's SQL.
I think so.
And I heard him talk about they have to wait for the magistrate. I think it's concerning the Section 205s. To me, I'm even shocked that he started that process only this week, the state, because I thought they would have already started it like a long time ago.
Well, the situation
Since has been consistent. He's been asking for this for quite some time. So I thought maybe that process had already started. But it looks like Avoke Baloyi had no intention of pulling those records. He just was going to pull them now since he's mandated to do it. So before, he didn't even consider it. I was thinking maybe he had already started with the Section 205s and stuff. But But I'm gonna give him grace for now and see what happens on Monday. Monday, I'm expecting a lot of affidavits to explain why some of the vehicles could not be pulled. Maybe they cannot be found. There's always something in that courtroom.
It's a very interesting court, unpredictable on a day
Twist
like
and
this,
turns.
twists and turns, and a lot of things that are happening. So others are saying it's a series, it's a movie, which goes without saying that South Africa is a movie, it's a series. We are in a series, we are in a movie, and we are playing along. Depending on where you are, depending on what you are looking at, you could be looking at a Starlink situation, you could be looking at
It's a
lot of things. But for now, we're just going to be focusing and zooming on this situation that we're currently facing, which is a court that has our interested hearts, I would assume.
The purpose of why I wanted us to go live today, Mr. Anonymous and family, I was very bothered by a response ka Brigadier Ginanda when was asking for the AVL of the car that he was driving, Brigadier Ginanda, when he was doing the investigations in 2020. And he said, no, it's a personal vehicle, right? And since it's a personal vehicle, he gave an impression that that car, since it was his personal car, cannot be subpoenaed.
Yeah.
And I saw Mnisi retract and be like...
He did not retract. Maybe he didn't put an energy.
He didn't put like force to it.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs to go and read his books and then find out what's the way forward. I don't know.
Okay. And you suggest he goes and open his books again.
I'm inspired, and I want to see something. The quick response in not wanting for the court to know as he was running the investigations and under the circumstances that we're in, where the accused are accusing that investigation team of torture and assault and all of these things. I am interested in finding out the vehicle now that he was driving. So I embarked on a process, Mr. Anonymous, to try and find out what are the ways that can be used to get that car.
Okay.
The details of it, right?
Yeah.
So I was wondering, because he was mentioning stuff like he's in a covert operation, and I'm thinking, like, I'm not a police officer or in the law or something or anything like that, but I know that there must be a way forward. There's no way, just because it was a covert operation and he was using his personal car, the details of that car cannot be found.
Yeah.
So I had a question. The first question I had, right, is that if an SAPS member has used their personal vehicle in a covert operation to make an arrest, right, and the accused person in court asks for the car tracker information of the vehicle, right, as part of their defense, can a judge order that car tracker information be provided?
Yeah.
So I wanted to know, is that a possibility, right?
I felt like it is a possibility. It's like exposing your personal stuff to a work environment, and then at some point investigation is needed. You are probably gonna have to be subpoenaed to actually bring that if they need it. You know, it's not something that is not usual.
So I wanted to be sure, because even when I tried looking for other cases that are relevant to this situation, I only found one in South Africa, and I'm very surprised. I'm very shocked. I was expecting to find a lot of them.
There is a question here, Ahmed. I don't know if you actually thought of it. Someone is saying this company that is responsible for AVL is contracted to SAPS, meaning they are indebted to actually provide such information when and if it's required. Why would you, in a sense, you can literally say it's an internal a company at that time when it comes to the duties that they perform. And part of it is to provide the AVL information at any given point in time. For example, you do not need Section 205 to actually ask for a car that has been lost. You know, that is something that is worth to look at.
Another bamboozlement.
You know, that is really something that we need to look at, because it does not make sense. Why would you ask a Section 205 against yourself? But yeah, we are in that situation where the states are going to say the states may be separated. It's a separate issue, but it's Ginanda who's looking for this information. So why the Section 205 with regards to internal information? So is that the process? Like every time you lose a car, you have to ask for Section 205?
We are being bamboozled.
I mean, the client in this case, which is SAPS, is looking for the information. That's the question. But
so it shouldn't have taken less or more than 24 hours.
It shouldn't. I mean, what exactly? That's the point. If they were to ask for information of the cars, that one of the car that they were pointing outside and it's lost, well, how long do you think they're going to take to actually pull that information?
So there's a possibility that by this time that Advocate Baloyi was asking for an extension, he already has them, allegedly. I'm alleging. I'm speculating.
You cannot rule that one out. The only one that I can think he probably was not in possession of is the SWAT team.
Or the SWAT team.
The SWAT team, yes.
Because they closed.
Yeah, they came to answer and he was shocked in their answering. So from there, I would say maybe he didn't have that information with him. It's an assumption and it's allegation.
He was talking about the magistrate. So you are telling us that there is no need for a magistrate to sign over anything because they are the ones requesting from their own department.
Well, they can argue that the NPA is not part and parcel of the SAPS.
Okay.
But in this case, my question that maybe I might need clarity of coming from the people that understand law better than me, it's SAPS. Ginanda is the one looking for such information, which is member of SAPS. Do we still require Section 205 in that case, or we still say the Section 205 is to cover the fact that this is an external part, which is NPA that is looking for this information? I don't know. I'm confused there. One, again, might argue, I think just with my limited knowledge when it comes to this, I might argue that the case is not the SAPS case. The case of SAPS case finishes when you get arrested and the investigation is done. The most important part is that the case is for NPA. It is an NPA case. So the NPA is the one that is looking for this, I guess. That's how they are going to say or answer this information.
Interesting. So pertaining that question that I was asking, that is it possible, according to the law, can this vehicle information AVL be ordered by the judge to show up in court, right? Can the judge order the car tracker information to be provided? And yes, it is highly likely, that a judge can and would order the disclosure of the car tracker information if it is deemed relevant to the accused defense.
Yes.
And if the defense can demonstrate a legitimate need for it. So here's why. They're saying that based on South African legal principles, there's the right to a fair trial, which is Section 35 that they keep mentioning of the Constitution. The South African Constitution guarantees every accused person the right to a fair trial. So this includes the right to adequate facilities to prepare defense, which inherently includes the right to access the relevant information held by the state. If the car's movements are relevant to the alibi of the accused or to contradict the state's version of events, or to challenge the credibility of the police witnesses, then this information becomes crucial for a fair trial. Do you guys hear that? So you have one condition where is it relevant to the alibi of the accused? And so far we've seen with Ntanzi and his memory that honestly, he was spot on at all the places that Fortuna stopped at on that specific day when they were taking him to make a confession.
Except when the AVL was loading.
GPS unlock. Yes, but he did not lie about those places, in my opinion.
It was not the lie. I'm just saying we couldn't verify it. It was
the stop unlocking at Baragwana, the engine garage situation, the memory. It was impeccable for me, in my opinion, right? And then another condition, the second one, is when it contradicts the state version of events. The accused are having their own version of events. The state, on the other hand, is having their own version of events. The accused are saying we were beaten up and forced to make these confessions.
Yeah.
The state is saying we never did such. You understand? And then also, the defense now is at a point where, or they need to challenge the credibility of the police witnesses.
Okay.
So that's why now this evidence becomes crucial for them to actually give their clients a fair trial. So discovery also in criminal cases, they are saying that while criminal discovery is not as extensive as civil discovery, the state has an obligation to disclose information that is relevant to the defense. This is often done through the police docket, but can extend to other evidence. So the purpose of discovery is to ensure that both parties are aware of all the available evidence to narrow issues and prevent trial by ambush.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the beginning of the case, I remember with the discovery phase of this case, it looked like the defense didn't have much to work with at the beginning. Do you guys remember that? Those who've been following from day one.
No, I fully remember it.
And I remember there was even a postponement that was asked for by Advocate Mshololo after the discovering of the 375 docket was now brought into the court, and she was saying that she needed more time to go through it. Guys, we have been through a lot. That's why we are no longer phased. I know some people are interpreting how we are behaving when it comes to these postponements, and they feel like, oh, we have no worries when there's a postponement. We honestly have been through a lot. We have been through a lot from the very beginning, where trial has stopped and went. It's been a stop and go, postponement after postponement. So it happens, right? So at the very beginning, there was a phase called discovery. I even remember when Judge Ratam Khwatleng got onto this case, he gave them more time at the beginning to disclose, for the state to disclose whatever they had against the accused and give them to the relevant party. So that's phase at the beginning, right? And this phase is crucial because it prevents a trial by ambush. While Mina, on the other hand, I feel opposite with this case. I feel like this case has been a trial by ambush, in my opinion. In my opinion, I feel like the defense has been ambushed quite a lot, because I didn't expect Zungu to come and give that evidence that he gave out of nowhere, and they are saying that, it's been a lot. It's been a lot, and then he's talking about statements that he wrote that are shredded. At initial evidence, he said that his statement was shredded in Brigadier Ginanda's office, and Brigadier Ginanda comes and says no such happened. Now they're asking him, how did Zungu take his statement? And he says that what did he say? What was part of his evidence? I don't want to misquote him. But yeah, he's basically denying what Zungu was saying, that where he drafted his statement, the one that was typed. Apparently, he drafted it prior to it being typed, and the what he had written was shredded.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot. And now that...
Which, by the way, would be very interesting to actually see the AVL. Did you say it did go to KZN?
For this situation of the typed statement needing to be shredded, and he said he didn't speak of shredding. What actually caused him to come back and say it was shredded is because the judge had ordered for him to go to KZN, because he had said that he left his notes where he wrote that statement.
So he didn't say he went to KZN?
No, he came back and said he didn't mention whether he went to KZN or not. He just said that he remembered that actually it was shredded in Brigadier Ginanda's shredding machine in his office. That's what he came back and said.
Are you making that one up? Yes. You're making that one up?
I'm not making it up. That's what Zungu said.
Okay. No, shredded, I remember. The machine part?
Actually, shredding, there's a shredding machine.
Oh, you're adding it. Oh,
How? He shredded it with his hands.
I think so.
You think so? Okay.
How can you remember that machine?
I'm just thinking maybe they use a shredding machine. How? I think there's a shredding machine that shreds
Yeah, I
papers.
almost felt like I missed something when it was shredded. The process of shredding.
Okay, I added a bit of aromat there. There was no mention of a machine, but he did say it was shredded in Brigadier Ginanda's office.
Okay, we take that.
Yeah. So they've been, even the releasing of the evidence in a piecemeal type of way. I just feel, in my opinion, that's also a trial by ambush.
Well, others are seeing the waste of time.
Also the waste of time.
Others are seeing the defense wasting time.
Also the state is wasting time. If you're gonna blame the defense wasting time, blame it on the state. There was a phase called discovery. Why did they not release all the information during that stage?
Well, my lord, we have finished the defense with all this information, but if my learned colleague so wish, we can still provide some extras. We have some papers. We have some of the exhibits here printed. So I think just to not make a fuss about
God.
this, we have really. We shouldn't be casting aspersions, and we are colleagues here. My learned colleagues can just simply say he does not remember going through this paper, and we can actually provide the document. Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember. You know how it goes, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. So,
and then who can also remember that incident of the recording that they are saying, Miss Grunier's recording of her when she was taking Tanzi's confession or alleged confession, and they actually wanted to play it in court just to give that reinforcement that Tanzi actually did make the confession, right? And it had to be thrown out under very tough situations because eventually constitutional rights are above.
They supersede. Right. Thank you, Lindy. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We saw you earlier. You donated. Thank you. We appreciate you. And in conjunction with CD Anna Mohapi, our member,
Anna Mohapi,
greatly appreciated. May all of you,
guys.
may God bless you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
So electronic information like tracker data is considered as well. So you'll find that there's documents or recordings in the order broader sense of discovery purposes under South African law, right? There's an example of Rule 23 of the Magistrates Court's rules and the general principles of discovery in the High Court. So there's also relevance and materiality. That's another aspect that they looked into. For the judge to order disclosure, the defense must establish the relevance and materiality of the tracker information.
Okay.
If the defense argues that the tracker data could prove the SAPS vehicle was not at a certain location at a crucial time, or that it was at a different location, or that the movements contradict the police's sworn testimony, then its relevance is clear, which is why Ramosipil is now bringing up where he's saying that he actually wants for the 6th of June, where the 16th of June, I think, where they said they took Ntanzi to the Tabani court, or was it 6th of July? I forgot exactly what date it was. So now he's saying that he wants that tracker information.
To the dentist, doctor, general doctor.
That whole journey, because there's aspect and testimony of the police that were accompanying Tanzi that is contradicting what Ntanzi is saying. So that AVL will help in giving him clarity as who's who now and what's going on. So there's also covert operations versus fair trial rights, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is the most important section. They're saying that while police conduct covert operations and there might be concerns about revealing sensitive operational details, the fundamental right to a fair trial generally takes precedence in cases where specific evidence is directly relevant to the guilt or innocence of the accused.
Oh. COVID
Covert.
Covert. We are increasing our vocabulary.
Guys, thank you. You're smart. You are teaching me a lot. Learned friends.
They are learned, these ones. They are very... They will correct you right there on the spot.
Thank you. I don't mind being corrected.
So now we know I'll be using it to the office.
Covert operation.
I'm just doing covert operations.
Oh my God.
It's a way.
Yes, Mr. Radibasi, the fundamental right to a fair trial, which is a constitutional right, Section 35, takes precedence in cases where specific evidence is directly relevant to the guilt or innocence of the accused.
So in this case, you are looking at Ndanzi's interest being the primary goal of everything, whether it was covert operations or whatsoever. At the end of the day, we have what we call constitutional rights that must not by all means be violated for us to actually gain whatever that we want to gain through these covert operations.
Now, the court would balance the state's interest in protecting covert operations against the accused's right to present a full defense. So if the information is genuinely necessary for a fair trial, the court is likely to lean towards disclosure.
So basically, we are saying, with regards to this AVL that we are probably now reading towards you, the Ginanda car, which is a private car.
That car is important.
He cannot come and say, I might be compromised by divulging my AVL, my whereabouts at some point. I might be compromised. So, my Lord, I do not want to disclose such information because it compromises
my
me.
Safety or whatever reason.
Then in that situation, we are looking also at the protection of someone's life, right? So how do they deal with it in this case?
The court might consider measures, to protect genuinely sensitive information if it's not directly relevant to the specific points of contention raised by the defense. So, for example, redacting irrelevant parts, or viewing the information in camera or in chambers to determine its relevance before full disclosure.
So you are saying that he might decide to discard the places where Ginanda stays, where he came from, when he was coming from his house, the address and all that, and still beam it on the television. Or he might say, because I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to navigate the situation, let us hear this information at the chambers. Then we'll come and continue here.
That's what the judge can do. That's what the options he has, right? So either they redact the personal location, his home, and all of that stuff, or they discuss in the chambers of a way to move forward, so that his personal information is not put in public. So because he was using a personal car, it does not mean that car cannot be called to come and bear witness.
I'm not sure, and I get your submission, and I accept it as a normal person. But we are talking about a court that is very fragile to some of the things that are happening. We are talking about the court that focuses on the car being written off instead of focusing to AVL.
No, that's where the work of the defense comes in, to redirect the focus into what's important, and that's accused having a fair trial.
So the situation right now is that this was my car, and that is enough. In that court, it was enough to have the defense back off, and
for now,
you literally can say the car was written off, and then the defense must back off, because apparently when it is written off, what happens? The system also goes and writes off the AVL,
all the AVL records.
that's how things are happening. We have had a situation of the events unfolding of what happened with the LPC, where the email that could have prompted an action from LPC is sent towards the end after having all the conversation. So we have had a situation, in a sense, one where you can actually assume that the LPC was literally thinking what the state was thinking, and they acted, and the state acted upon that. The state realized, actually, we are dreaming, but it has already happened. Let me send an email now to actually ask for these things. Towards the end, we are in courts that are dealing with such evidence. So I'm not so sure. I mean, it's good work that you are doing, but it only works when
in a normal court with the sober judge. I know.
the judge is sober. The judge is sober.
Okay,
I think
he's sober.
Yeah, the judge is very sober.
My apologies.
The judge is very sober. He's aware.
The court is very sober.
He reads everything.
Yes.
So I think you should also consider the fact that this court is a very different one. I think I like to put it like that. I cannot say more, because if I say more, then I'm sued in the morning. You see? This is a special court.
Yeah, this is a special one, and we're gonna consider all these. Please, Mr. Anonymous, keep them coming. These roadblocks, when they come across in your mind, mention them. Okay. So also, the location and movement of a vehicle used in the actual arrest that is being challenged would generally not fall into a category of information that can be withheld. So if they want for the specific dates that the accused were arrested, it cannot be withheld.
Because it does affect the accused, and it is important for the accused to have a fair trial.
It needs to state at the same time that the Fortuna was at a specific place, like with Ntanzi, that whole thing of him saying that he came and had a conversation. It purported to be something that sounded like a confession. Motor vehicles that were used.
You see, that's going to be an issue, because you think of what is the worst case scenario, or in fact what is supposed to happen on a perfect world. You know, when we say perfect world, you know, man, you don't need me to explain. When I say perfect world is when things are normal, everything is normal, right? But in this case, if the AVL of Ginanda says, at some point I came closer to a Fortuna, and the Fortuna is also reading around that area where it was purported as, was it a city hall or what in Vosloorus?
They said it looked like a city hall.
Oh, something like library or something. I don't know what is it. Oh, yeah, but it should be pointing there. Those cars, both of them, at some point they should be meeting. At some point. You
see what we mean.
That's what's going to be. You see, that's what I'm saying.
When you take the AVL,
maybe that's why the system is going to require.
The location must be.
Maybe that's why the system is going to require a lot of time, because you're looking at pulling data that could be pulling at the same point for two different cars, and then that actually takes a lot of.
No, we will wait.
A lot of
we are
what do we call it?
Beings.
It chows a lot of space, so it requires time. That's why you can't just that's why you needed about 2-3 days, I think.
We need more postponement for this one of the lead investigator AVL tracker information. It's also going to require more time.
It's important to actually mention these things, because we don't want the states to look like they are delaying the case while they are hard at work.
Yes.
In this case, they are really hard at work.
Yes.
So sometimes when you go on a system and then you pull AVL, and if it's together, in this case, if it's an AVL that is supposed to be pulled from one system, and cars, they cross the path at some point, it takes a lot of space
Yes.
on the system. So it requires a really extra 2 days, maybe or so, to actually have a proper information that is not doctored.
Yes. There's also an aspect of it, admissibility of digital evidence. The tracker is digital evidence.
Yes.
For it to be admissible, its integrity, reliability, and authenticity must be preserved.
Yes.
This is what Nisi has been hammering on. Do you not?
It is.
So if the SAPS used a personal vehicle with a private tracker, the defense might also scrutinize the chain of custody and the reliability of that particular tracking system. So potential arguments against disclosure by the state and how they may or might be countered, right? There's a few examples that I found. They said that the state privilege. So the state might argue that the information is privileged, perhaps due to it being part of a covert operation. However, do you want to share something?
No, I just wanna I don't know, I wanna caution guys. Normally I don't in this situation I don't like answering questions that should be answered by other people, because what we are doing now, we are working on other people's stuff that we're not supposed to do. So if something confuses you from somewhere
else,
I think
address it there.
Address it there, yes. Because so from our side, then how are we gonna answer if you were confused by someone else? You know, it becomes difficult to actually answer in that situation. But maybe address it there.
So the state will argue about the privilege. Since this thing was a covert operation, right? But however, here's a counter argument that the defense can come back with, Mr. Anonymous.
Yes.
They're saying that, however, state privilege is not absolute, and the courts can order its disclosure if the interest of justice and the right to a fair trial outweigh the reasons for withholding it. Right? The issue here is that the accused are saying Brigadier Ginanda was sitting in a white BMW, Ntanzi's version. He was sitting at the boot of a white BMW. And he's denying. And he's saying he never had such a vehicle in 2020 and he was not driving it, right?
Yeah.
That's the argument here.
It is the argument.
And he's saying he was using his personal car.
Yes.
So also irrelevance is another thing that the state might argue. The state might argue the information is not relevant. The defense would then need to clearly articulate how the tracker data is relevant to their case. For example, to establish an alibi, to contradict state witnesses, or to show impropriety in the arrest.
Okay.
So those are some of the examples that are needed for them to actually counter the argument of irrelevance, because Advocate Malloy may come and say it's irrelevant. They have to emphasize why it's relevant. So
it's funny how you have to defend on your on such things while Balo would just submit, and then the onus is on you to actually prove that it's relevant. But when they have to do that with the entire case, it does not apply, or I have not seen it being applied as much as it is applied
for the
defense.
So another aspect, right? Personal vehicle. That's what the state might argue, that this is a personal vehicle. It's not state property. So this vehicle belongs to Brigadier Ginanda. It's his personal vehicle. Well, the state might argue like that, and therefore not subject to the same disclosure rules as a state vehicle, right? However, if the personal vehicle was used in the cause and scope of official duties for a police operation that led to the arrest, then it effectively becomes an instrument of the state for that specific operation.
Yeah.
And information relating to its use in that context would likely be treated as discoverable evidence. This is what was making me nervous and confused, right?
Yeah.
I was like, how are they going to subpoena a personal vehicle that was used for state? So here you got it. It's possible. It can be done. All right, it can be done because when you use your personal vehicle for your work with the state, it becomes the state's vehicle. For that specific operation, and information that is relating to its use in the context will likely be treated as discoverable evidence. So yeah, we've got hope. So given the robust constitutional right to a fair trial in South Africa, if the accused can demonstrate that the car tracker information is relevant and necessary for their defense, a judge would most likely order its disclosure. So the court's primary concern would be to ensure that the accused has every opportunity to present a full and fair defense. So I was looking for cases that are relevant to this type of situation.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, you guys, I struggled. I struggled to find where AVL, it was difficult for the state to provide it to the accused in order for them to defend themselves. It's not something that happens often in our courts. The only time I think now it's being brought up, it's because the accused are accusing the state police of assault, and having to be forced to confess or sign confessions under such conditions. So that's pretty much it. So SAPS using a personal vehicle in a covert operation where tracker data of that personal vehicle was ordered disclosed might be challenging due to the specific combination of facts, but the underlying legal principles are well established. So the accused's right to a fair trial and access to information, the state's obligation to disclose relevant evidence, the admissibility of digital tracker evidence, and the balancing of state interests like covert operations against a fair trial. So there are some key South African cases and legal principles that would support a judge ordering such a disclosure. So there's access to police dockets and fair trial rights. There's a landmark case in this regard. It's Shabalala and others versus Attorney General Transvaal and another. Now this case is from way back in 1995. Yeah, but it took long because the last documented, it was 1996, so it took over a year. So this constitutional court case fundamentally changed the landscape of criminal discovery in South Africa. They're saying that it held that the common law or docket privilege, where the state could largely withhold the contents of police docket from the defense, was unconstitutional. So this, you'll have to treat this AVL request like something that was supposed to be a part of the docket, but because evidence in this trial comes out in a piecemeal fashion. Now they are like comparing it to this case of Shabalala versus the state. So, because infringed on the accused's rights to a fair trial under Section 25.3, now Section 35.3 of the interim constitution, and by extension the final constitution. So the relevance in Shabalala is that Shabalala established that an accused person generally has a right to access information in the police docket, including witness statements, provided that such access is required for the exercise or protection of any of his or her rights. So also another argument they made is that the court emphasized that the South African or the state cannot spring a surprise on the defense.
Well, That was then.
This is
That
a
was
special
then.
one.
That was then. Now they can, my lord.
Now they do it all the time.
Oh my lord, I think my little colleague here is
new exhibit.
It's just
A statement from a Constable Sizwe Zungu.
He's overreaching here. I mean, the states can conduct a case in their own way, and
the defense has no
right to
actually tell the state how to conduct their examination of the witness. So,
what does the law say?
What does the law say?
Oh, my lord, I think I have a case ready here. Hey, we have seen people who have cases in their heads. Just when the question has been asked, what does the law say? Have you ever heard the defense when that question is asked?
You don't even give time to look for the case.
Defense is always on the defend mode. When that question is asked, they are never asked to read the law. It's rare
to them.
My little colleagues whose English is proper.
No, he will never be asked to.
He reads. He is the one who reads first. It's like one of those kids in the class, in that class that you had, where they are always gonna be when the teacher say, "Who's gonna clean the board? Who's gonna clean?
Me, teacher, me." People used to be so annoyed by students like that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
They were like offering a book.
The hell out of me.
And when it's time for class to finish, they're always the ones who are asking 5 questions or something like.
Like that time you wanna go.
Why are you asking
so many questions?
Like, we wanna go.
Hey, simple as that. Can I go home?
And then they're having the conversation with the teacher, like, it's between them. And the rest of you are just there. You're like, okay.
Then
can you guys get a room or something?
Then come the exam time. Come the exam time. They don't even want to show their paper. What happened?
They were busy acting like a professor.
Yeah. I was one of those kids who never asked questions. Never.
Oh my God.
Because I was even afraid to hear a sound of my voice in a class full of students. I was afraid.
It was intimidating.
The problem with us when we were growing, we had to construct a sentence in English, in Zulu, and transfer it to English and now paraphrase, do everything that we need to do, and then ask a question. By the time it reaches that time, that topic is gone. So I didn't want to embarrass myself because obviously we were mixed. We had ladies there. It made my studying difficult. I think it makes everyone studying difficult. I wish I was studying with boys only.
Really?
Yeah, it was gonna be.
So it's not
easy.
such a bad idea to take your son to boarding school.
It's bad, but
not like boarding school, but a boys only.
Yeah,
school.
I would actually take my son there. I would take my son there because you're not afraid of being embarrassed that much.
Okay.
It goes deeper if you are embarrassed and the class is mixed.
Are there.
Yeah. They never forget. They never forget that thing. You come across someone's wife in town. They're like, "Hey, I remember you. You remember the day?" You're like, "Hey, that's the only thing you remember when you remember me messing up English."
That's very interesting. So yes, the court emphasized that the state cannot spring a surprise on the defense. Then if the tracker data is crucial for the defense to challenge the state's narrative, establish an alibi, or question the police's conduct, or credibility, it would fall squarely within the information required for the exercise or protection of rights. So admissibility of digital evidence, including the tracker data. So while not directly about disclosure by the state, several recent high-profile cases have dealt with admissibility and relevance of car tracker as evidence.
Sorry, I'm just to disturb you a bit. Guys, can you please press the like button, please? I'm helping our moderators here, Mtosis and BBM and everyone.
Guys, press the like button.
Please press the like.
Just because we are talking.
Yes,
it doesn't mean rules and protocol observed has changed. No, it has not. We still need the like button to be pressed.
Yes,
do us that one favor.
It's a favor that we're asking
Just.
for. And we continue.
It's protocol still observed, okay? And encourage us. Encourage with your likes. Encourage, guys. Encourage me. You understand? Otherwise, I may disappear for another. Thank you. I'm being honest, you guys. If you're not interacting with the content, there's honestly no purpose of why we need to do what we do. So if you press that like button, tomorrow I will come with another piece of content. I will keep coming. But if I not see anything.
Oh, and by the way, we always that's why we don't grow that much. We forget to say, please subscribe.
Also, please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
If
Don't
you
binge rush us.
Stumbled upon us, by mistake or by favor or by some kind of miracle, right? Please check if you are subscribed. Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah,
right?
Even if you are subscribed, just check.
Just check if you're still subscribed.
You know how it is, man.
So these cases demonstrate that courts readily accept and consider such data, which would implicitly make it subject to discovery if relevant to the defense. Now, there's a case that I found, which is S versus Naidu. Now, this is Simba Mbere's murder case versus a guy by the name who was Naidu, I think. I read up a bit the articles and everything, trying to put it up together as to what had happened. So Simba Mbere was a presenter at Top Billing. Many years ago, I think around 2010s. I think he started around 2008. He had won a presenter search competition at Top Billing. And then in 2015, at the young age of 26, his life was cut short. I remember seeing the announcement on TV and stuff, and I just felt sad because I used to be one of those people that watched Top Billing, okay, believing all of the luxury and whatnot. It used to give black people, especially coming from a township, I would used to look at black people doing well, living in nice houses and feeling like, ooh.
And then you thought if I go to Varsity and get
possible.
A degree,
yes,
I'll be driving that car.
Yes.
You forgot to calculate that. I need a place.
I was like, people are living in mansions. It used to do that to us, can't I?
Me too. I was like, I used to imagine myself.
No, man.
With my wife having a big yard and riding a horse within.
Some of them would even have horses.
Why do I?
People are living in mansions, and Simba Mbere was good at presenting that show. He was really good. It's Mhere, not Mbere, my apologies, it's Mhere. And he was so good at it. It was top notch how he used to present. So when I read up a little bit on the case and the little bits and pieces that I got, because at the time I wasn't following the case, and not much was discussed. I think we last heard of the announcement of his passing away, and then from there on we never heard anything afterwards, right? But the case continued. In fact, the person who is caused or was the cause or the suspected person who caused the accident was eventually arrested, and they were given a sentence. I just don't know how long the sentence was. I can't remember, but they were eventually found guilty. And they were saying that they were not guilty. Oh my God, their defense was so weird. they were saying that they were not guilty because they were blaming the accident on the car malfunction, while witnesses were saying that he looked like he was drunk when he stopped at the accident scene, and that he what else did they say? That he was speeding. Apparently he was driving at 200 kilometers per hour. So Simba was with a friend when this tragic accident happened in 2015. It was in January of 2015. So in this case, they're saying that the court allowed the state. And another interesting thing that I read when I read about this case was that Naidu seemed drunk, according to witnesses, but they didn't do a test on him. But there are witnesses saying that they saw his mother take the bottle of alcohol out of the car as they were waiting for the paramedics and help to come and assist in the accident. So that was part of the evidence that I found very interesting. That, wow, right? So he was eventually charged with culpable homicide. And then he was saying that the sentence was too harsh. Two people died. He's saying the sentence was too harsh, and that he was hoping for something like a fine of 1,500 a month or community service for taking away 2 lives. That's what he was arguing, that the sentence was harsh. His lawyers were arguing. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. So in this case, the court allowed the state to introduce evidence from a car tracking device in a culpable homicide trial. So they were asking for the state in this case, because the state was representing Simba. So they were asking for the car tracking device in the car of the defendant. So the magistrate specifically ruled that allowing the evidence would not prejudice the accused and was in the interest of a fair trial.
Yes.
So this case showed judicial acceptance of tracker data as relevant and admissible, right? So there were a bunch of articles that I went through, and some of these details were honestly too disturbing for me. I was like, So now, another case, interestingly, that was mentioned is the Senzo Meyiwa trial, guys. So what I gathered up from the Senzo Meyiwa trial, although it's an ongoing high court case, right? They're saying that in this trial, the court has ruled in favor of allowing automatic vehicle location AVL reports, car tracking data into evidence, particularly to determine the movements of a police vehicle that transported an accused who are allegedly or was allegedly assaulted, and coercion was used during their questioning. So relevance to this whole situation, this is highly relevant because it directly involves a police vehicle's movements, and the defense sought to use this data to challenge the police's version of events and their conduct. So the judge specifically stated that any relevant evidence that assists the court in making an informed decision must be heard, and that such evidence does not prejudice the defense if it's in line with the accused's testimony. Now, this demonstrates the court's willingness to order disclosure and admit such evidence when it's material to the trial and allegations of police impropriety. So balancing the state interest versus a fair trial rights. While police operations, especially covert ones, involve a degree of secrecy, this secrecy is not absolute, and it cannot trump fundamental fair trial rights. So that's a relief, right? Courts would apply a balancing test. The state might argue that disclosing details of a covert operation, for example, specific vehicle methods or exact routes, could compromise future operations or identify informers, right? However, if the specific movements of that vehicle are central to providing or disproving an element of the crime, an alibi or police misconduct, the scales would heavily tip in favor of the accused's fair trial rights. So the court might consider protective measures such as in camera or in chambers. The judge might examine the tracker data privately to determine its relevance before deciding on disclosure. Right? Redaction can happen as well, where you remove any truly sensitive information that is not directly relevant to the specific point of contention. Right? Those are some of the options that are available should he disclose the vehicle that he says he was using in 2020 besides the white BMW. So conditions on disclosure, imposing conditions on how the information can be used or further disclosed. So based on these cases and principles, while a direct reported case where a judge ordered disclosure of a personal car tracker data of an SAPS investigator in a covert operation might be elusive due to the specific facts in many such applications are resolved before reaching reported judgments, the legal framework established by Shabalala, reinforced by recent rulings on admissibility of tracker data, like in this case, strongly indicates that a South African judge would indeed order the disclosure of such information. So he will be the first one in history to determine such based on his legal knowledge. Right? Judge Rathamokotling has a opportunity to set the rhythm of how to deal with evidence coming from the state in covert operations or police officers in covert operations when they're being accused of having assaulted the accused. And being accused of forcing confessions and the movements of their car. So he has an opportunity here. And whatever decision he makes, just know that the decision he makes will be used by other legal practitioners in the future. Right? So there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity for him to write history. I don't know how you guys feel. Do you want to call in today? No? Yes? Maybe?
Maybe yes, no. Let's see. But are you done?
I choose to pause here for now. Maybe I'll continue tomorrow with the rest.
Okay. Good. We have been here for an hour.
Is it over an hour? Oh my God, it feels like 20 minutes.
Is it? Portia, Katie, thank you very much for being here. As you press that like button, let's hear. Let's hear. Zanzi, hello.
Hello, guys. How are you?
We're good. How are you?
I'm great. I wasn't expecting you guys to do a show tonight.
I also wasn't expecting it, but I had to do it. I have been bothered by the refusal of this car that is a personal vehicle.
Yeah, very strange, huh?
Very strange. It's
very strange.
It's not giving me peace.
Just a few thoughts. Just bear with me for a few minutes.
Okay.
The first point I want to make is a broad picture point. Ne?
Yeah.
This case is showing or shining a big light on our country as a whole, on the criminal element of our country.
Yes.
Starting as a politics. The political parties, any of them, could have put pressure for this case to stop. And none of them have done anything. None of them. Whether it's the ruling party, any of the opposition, none of them have done nothing. The judiciary is watching a mockery of our legal system. The NPA has done shady stuff here. The SAPS has done shady stuff. The LPC, the FCC, the lawyers. It's just all the way down. It's just crazy that they're just watching all of this go on, and not just watching. One could argue they are part of it. You see? So that's just a broad picture aspect. The AVL. I'm also interested in the AVL. Ginanda. Remember Ginanda? Remember Mangena testifying on that one day before lunch, saying that he met Ginanda. And then after lunch, what he didn't meet Ginanda.
Yes.
I want Ginanda's AVL on that day. You see, I would like to know where he went on that day. He might say he was around, but didn't meet him in that office, wherever they were that day. But it would be interesting to know what happened that day. That's just a second point. The third point I'd like to make is Umnisi is doing a very good job. Not just Umnisi. I think the defense is doing a great job of not falling for, please don't take offense to this, not falling for all the YouTube or social media hype that's out there and fighting the case. Because a lot of things are said online and they are just waiting and biding their time. I'll give you an example. That FCC thing, they've had plenty of opportunity to bring it up, but they've waited. And they waited because they probably had more information than the rest of the public.
Yes.
You see, they might have known that the prosecution have already done some shady stuff in the background, which has probably buried themselves even further than 12 feet under. You see, and they waited and waited till Obaloyi fumbled even more. Meanwhile, Obaloyi are doing the exact opposite. They are fighting social media in court. They are busy proving that Mchiyako is a lawyer when these guys never said he's not a lawyer. You see. Okay, then my last point is that you guys are doing a fantastic job. You are not involving yourself in conjecture and rumors. You are just dealing with the facts. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
and I take no offense to the YouTuber statement. Not at all.
It's
okay, no problem. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That was
a
a good
very
point.
good
I'm
point.
happy that it was raised by a caller. And also the issue of just some information, the defense sitting on it. And as people who are outside, when we find a tip of it, we think, why didn't they are not doing their job, only to find that it's part of the strategy. And maybe by just talking about it now we are blowing it up. But good point again in saying that the reaction of the states to social media is playing into defense hands, which is a very good observation.
That's great. And that's why we're not going to discourage anyone.
No offense. None taken.
None taken.
We are glad
everybody
that
must do what they do.
What it is.
Yes, everybody must do what they do on their own YouTube channels and their own TikTok pages. Okay, we don't want to get involved in that. That's all. But everybody must continue doing what they do. Right?
Right. Press that like button. As you do that, we thank people like Bosizwe, our members, our bakash, our Peter Mbanyisi. Thank you, Mlambo Design. I think I've mentioned you, Zugo M. Sibanda Skatele, Siabong. Hi, Mzansi Sisi Venda, Siabong. Thank you. Good evening. Edwin Mbata, that's what he said. It's a good morning now. Edwin Mbata, I think it was a long time ago. Nelsie We Lamola Siabonga. Sibanda Skatele, I've mentioned you. Lindy Webemba, our member, thank you very much. And thank you for your generous gift. We appreciate it. May God bless you. Hlengiwe Sithole, Lawrence Mphehle, Patrick Ntubisheng, sibe no Sibongile Khumalo, Edwin Bata, I think I've mentioned you. TD Anna Muhape, our member, and thank you again for your generous offer. God bless you again. May you bag increase abundantly. J Makuverele, I think it's W, I'm not sure. Please correct me. Yay, Gabuya. Yeah. Ubani lo. There, it's a Namibian name, right? Pelasis, I'm fit.
I can't see where you are, and I'm so lost. Like, I don't know.
Hinjo. I don't know. It's Hinjo.
It starts with an H.
Yeah. It's Namibia. Good evening, Zansi family. Hey, evening. Help us how to pronounce your name. It will help me because I see you are here most of the time. So, being a le Namibia. See, Namibia. Yeah, it's Namibia. I see this flag because one of my players from Orlando Pirates comes from this country. Mtimkulu, thank you very much, our member. Siyabonga. Tsidi Anna, I've mentioned you, Mamzita. How siyabonga Mamzita. Nkulunkulu anigcine nibe khona. As you press that like button lapana niqhubeka siyabonga. Mzwakhe Radebe, I've mentioned you, Mlungwana Ndlogovana siyabonga. Ntokozo Mbele, our member. It's been a while, Ntokozo. It's been a while since I read your name. I don't know whether you've been here. I
like Emmanuel Makanjera. He's following us from Zimbabwe. Honestly, he's saying the state case crumbled and died long back. It's a shame. Judicial system is embarrassing itself. If you, Emmanuel from Zimbabwe, can see this,
you are outside, but you can see.
If you can see,
imagine Tina Sisepoto in Pakati,
and we're still made to feel guilty for saying it.
When we call it out,
wrong. Yeah. We are the wrong ones.
Yeah.
For thinking this. Right.
But siyabonga all the way from Zimbabwe, right?
Yeah.
Emmanuel, siyabonga, thank you. We appreciate you. Ntokozo Silanga, our moderator, thank you for keeping the checks on likes and everything that is happening in the comments. We appreciate you. Kanyile Xaba, siyabonga. Ntanta Skosana.
There's another one that I like from David Makatini. He says that Ginanda gets a state car allowance which makes it for business and private use. I believe if needed to assist the court, the relevant tracker information should be provided.
Okay. That's what's supposed to happen, right?
Yes, the law agrees with you,
right.
David.
Yeah. So, by the way, guys, all the things that were said, we forgot to say.
Yeah, allegedly. They're alleged.
It's not our opinion.
Allegedly.
We don't share the same view. Thank you. Whatever, everything that we're supposed to say, all the disclaimers that we haven't said, but it all is alleged.
Everything is alleged.
Owen Komane, thank you, Owen. Uzugu, I've mentioned Raul Mtrobele. Thank you, siyabonga. Sehlanjalo Nzaliseko Mdingi, siyabonga. Siyabonga Nzaliseko. Sibane Emmanuel Makanjero sumfundile. Usuze naye Ulurama Siraya, our member. Our members say, good evening, families. Good morning. Now on our side, David Makatini, Uti Gininde, Meyana la Ndanga Neni, Ndanga Neni, Siyabonga. Hi Emily and Mr. Ano, Siyabonga Meyan. Jeffrey.
Okay, I can't find that name you were struggling with. I've scrolled and scrolled.
I was correct. It's our member here. Ntokozo Mpela I've mentioned. Stella, thank you. David Makatini, I think I've mentioned you, or Emily. Fiso Sindani, our member, thank you. We appreciate you.
And Sizwe is saying something interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying you YouTubers are doing very well. Kola, everyone is playing their part.
Everyone.
Baloyi is falling for YouTubers.
It's a trap. Ngoni Vere. Thank you, Ngoni. We appreciate you. It's true. It is true. Everyone is playing their part. Oleboheng.
Yes.
Thank you. Siyabonga. Ndanzile hayi ke manje sengwafunda ngikwazi ngifika kuleli ngisuke sengazi Everly ever present, Everly cute, butterfly cute. Siyabonga. Ignatia, thank you, we appreciate you. BBM, our moderator, thank you, we appreciate you.
Thank you, BBM.
Setanjalo City, Dave Chidi, thank you. Do you remember that saying to Magistrate Crozier that her laptop was no longer her private property if it was used for official business?
Oh, yeah.
Can this be applied to Ginenda's personal? You spot on. Yes. And
the defense must remember all of this.
They must not. Don't use masks if they need it. Caller Nosep, all the way from Namibia. Sabonga, caller Nosep, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. We value you. Spawn. Mike. Thank you. Sabonga. Kosinati Zagwe, our member, just taking the register and like Sabonga Kosinati. Sizo, I've mentioned you. Neo F2, Sabonga. Masirame. Aige. Our member. Thank you. It's been a while. That's why I'm sure it's been a while. Figila Fixin, regular. Thank you. We appreciate you. Bulelani Ntoko, Siabonga. Bulelani Zuki Gala. Thank you, Siabonga. Bafetu, Charity Bonani, Siabonga. Ngomane 83, Siabonga. She's a correct name, Ngomane. Blessing my banner. Thank you. Bye, Bafetu.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Until tomorrow.